All right, so welcome to Sun and Moon half-hour yoga on Thursday at 10 a.m. My name is Anna, and I am happy to offer a little yoga snack. Let's think of it this way. I like to think of movement as a type of nourishment for the body. Just like food is a type of nourishment, so is movement a type of nourishment. And some movements are more nutritionally dense, more nurturing than others. Think of some movements as your dark leafy greens, right, packed of vitamins, and some movements more like for enjoyment, like the dessert, a little empty calories, maybe a little indulgence now and then. And as Ayurveda, the sister science to yoga, is teaching us, we need to strive for more like 70-30, 80-20 breakdown, where majority of movement in our yoga practice is a nutritionally dense and nurturing type of movement. And then we can throw in 30 to 20% of movement that is just for fun, just something we enjoy for pleasure. I mean, not necessarily contribute anything more other than joy and enjoyment and an indulgence. And so if we only have half an hour, good morning. Yes, only have half an hour. One thing to look at structuring your yoga snack is what it is you want to achieve with your practice. And today I'm going to just give an example of a short yoga practice that I do for myself if I know I'm going to be sitting throughout the day quite a bit at my computer, or maybe bent over in my garden pulling weeds, or some kind of situation that we often find ourselves in, right? Which is this kind of shape where we have our knees in, be that squatting over or sitting at our desk, so our hip flexors are locked short, right? And maybe our upper back is rounded, so our back muscles between the shoulder blades are locked long, and then also the chest muscles here, because our chest is kind of in and the shoulders are hunched forward, are also locked short. So one of the things to do when you design a yoga practice is to analyze what it is that you do a lot of throughout the day that may contribute to certain muscles being overused in a certain way, such as to hold your body in a particular shape. And then design a yoga practice aimed to balance that out. Undo some of the locked long or locked short effects so that you can move again with freedom and joy. And today we're going to begin on our back. And one of the ways I like to begin a practice is just to get things moving in a non-weight bearing, dynamic, small to mid-range way to restore circulation to things that are locked up, be that long or short. Because if you want to start working with those muscles, first you gotta unlock them, right? So clear up a little bit of space if you haven't yet on the floor for you, and lie on your back. As you lie on your back, have your knees bent, feet apart, knees together, and minimum support for the head. It's best to have the head at level with the rest of the spine, so that if you've been sitting or standing or whatever position with your head forward, here you are already taking the weight off your back, taking the stress out of that misalignment of the neck, allowing everything to rest. And the bent knees will allow the low back to drape too. And releasing that stress with a little bit of breathing, let's lengthen the exhalation and send a signal to our nervous system that we are here, we're present, we're paying attention, right? We are really creating with a longer exhale a mindful state where we can start to sense our body, perceive subtle sensations. And that's a major gift of yoga, is to really be able to feel more, have more information come in so we can make informed decisions about what to do, how much to do, when to do certain parts of our practice. As you relax, you can have your hands on your lower ribs. And when the inhale naturally deepens in another minute or so, usually it happens as a consequence of lengthening the exhale, you'll feel that under the hands, the rib cage expanding. You can start to organize the breath a little bit more mindfully, deepening the inhale into the lower ribs, be that front, sides, and back. So kind of think circumferentially. And lengthening the exhale, making it more complete. And with each exhalation, relax and soften the lower back. You can slowly turn the head side to side to increase some circulation to the neck and shoulders. Unlock the jaw if you tend to grind your teeth at night, or just generally from stress. And with a long exhale, you can use Ujjayi breath, as if you're saying, but with the mouth closed. Yeah, long exhale and deeper inhale. Let's spend another minute or so checking in with the body, feeling here, feeling there, inquiring various places, especially if we know we have some areas where we hold tension and stress. So go there with your mind. See if you can relax a little bit as your breath lengthens and deepens. And when designing a yoga practice, think of measures and countermeasures that you feel would help you balance out your daily life. And in our yoga practice too, there is the measures and countermeasures to make that practice flow and build gradually, layering experiences and coming back to a checking in, a status quo, a new level, and then moving on from there. So I generally begin every practice with a symmetrical, dynamic, easy, non-weight bearing movement. So if you're ready to begin, let's have our arms down our sides. And as we inhale, we'll reach up overhead. And you can arch the lower back a little bit. And as you exhale, bring the arms back down to your sides. Continue at your pace. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, reaching down. And by coordinating breath and movement, you again sending a signal to your nervous system that you are paying close attention. And the nervous system responds by actually allowing you greater range of movement. It's like, okay, someone's on the job, someone's watching, someone's there, someone's present. I don't have to do this all by myself on autopilot. And so the nervous system allows you a greater freedom of movement, a greater ease of movement. Maybe one or two more up and down with the arms. And then as you exhale, next grab both knees into chest. So this movement, again, symmetrical, dynamic for more of the low back. So we'll hold on to our knees to make it small to mid-range. As we inhale, legs away into tabletop, we want to point the toes. And as we exhale, guide the knees back into chest. You can softly pulse while flexing the feet. So the feet will also produce some sensations. Inhale, table point. Exhale in, pulse, flex. And continue at your pace, again, coordinating breath and movement in a very precise and mindful way. Think of sandwiching the movement inside the breath. So the breath leads, the movement goes concurrently for the length of it. And they run together, they start together, they finish together. And this creates a wonderfully meditative state. You can be while practicing yoga for the whole length of that practice. So let's do another few of these, working on that nice relaxed pace and coordination. So these two movements, the arms up and the legs in, help to unlock the muscles that are locked long or short, increase a bit of circulation, right? Moving on, let's straighten our legs on the floor and continue that idea. As we inhale, reach overhead and really lengthen. And on the exhale, grabbing one leg in, give that a little circle around. And give the ankle maybe a little extra twirl around. Let's go side to side. On the inhale, full body stretch. And then you can spend a couple of breaths working on that leg in. Circling, twirling, pulsing, whatever feels good here. Let's do a 3-4 rounds. Each time you inhale, look for a little bit more length in the body. Each time you exhale, look for a little bit more ease in the joints, especially of the hips, since that's what we're working on. But generally, long exhale as it releases tension in the body, hopefully makes these movements feel easy, pleasant, enjoyable. Let's do one more full round side to side. And then we'll do an easy twist. So once you finish, step both feet in and wide apart. We'll do easy windshield wipers with the arms wide. As we exhale, we'll twist the knees in one direction, head in the other. On the inhale, coming center. Do a few side to side and reach the arm away from the knees to start maybe stretching a little bit those tight chest muscles. And as the knees reach to the floor, whether they touch or not, you can feel a little stretch in the hip flexor. So now we're ready to invite a little bit of length to those muscles that may have been locked short, right? The chest muscles here are trying to elongate a little. The front of the hip muscles, the hip flexors are trying to elongate a little. And with a long exhalation, we can maybe make a little bit of progress, but without forcing or pushing in any way. Long exhale. Very good. So next time your knees are to your left. Drop your knees to your left, and they don't have to be on the floor. Just hold them up, whatever's comfortable for your low back and lower body. And then your right arm go up overhead on the inhale, and I'll slide down a little bit on the exhale. So inviting a little bit more length to the back muscles, to the lats, to the side on the inhale, and just releasing that on the exhale as the arm slides back and forth. Yeah. A few times on this side. And then when you feel like you want to switch over, drop your knees to your right and just suspend them there. And move your left arm up on the inhale and then down on the exhale. Slide it up. sliding down, just lightly grazing the floor. Yeah, I'm gonna move my camera around a little bit because I'm in a patch of bright sun, and I feel like that maybe is not getting a good picture. Yeah, so after that, come back to center, grab your knees in, give them a little more hugging and a pulsing, and then a spinal stretch by holding on to the knees, curl up off the floor a little bit, pull yourself forward so your back is rounded and you're using your legs as leverage for this gentle pull forward, chin slightly tucked, for a stretch to those muscles between the shoulder blades, yeah? And slowly roll out vertebra by vertebra. Yeah. And then from here, we'll transition into child's pose and work on deepening the inhale into our lower back ribs. So this is the next step in releasing stress. Because when we are stressed, often our breaths are shallow, right? They're kind of confined to these upper areas of the chest. So it's very important to rehabilitate the breathing that we have, yeah? So as we come into child's pose, have your knees close together so your front ribs are on top, and you can encourage that expansion on the inhale into your lower back ribs, yeah? Spend a couple of breaths here, gaining ground with your back body breath, using the breath from the inside to expand and stretch your back. And when you feel like you are connected to that breath back there, move to table on the inhale with a bit of a back bend, and then back into child's on the exhale, rounding the spine. Continue moving back and forth, inhale table, exhale child's. Again, coming back to that precise coordination of breath and movement together. And then some cats and cows too. Now this is the one that's more nutritionally dense probably of many other movements we can do, right? So let's take some time as we inhale and arch, exhale and round to wake up fluidity in the spine, unlock whatever's locked, be that long or short, and engage the whole length of the spine from tailbone to the neck, gently, fluidly transitioning back and forth from the back bend on the inhale to the flexion on the exhale. Next time you're in table pose, let's explore a little bit more of the sides. So you can squeeze your side body on the exhale that way, and then the other way. Think of bringing the shoulder up to the hip and the hip up to the shoulder as you bend your spine side to side laterally. And not only are you bringing the hip and shoulder towards each other on one side, you're actually lengthening and reaching the other side away from each other. Yeah, so opposite actions on the right and the left. So your spine is moving side to side. Think lizard-like gecko climbing up a wall, yeah? And let's do a similar movement in cat shape. So if you round your spine, gauge your belly muscles for support. Also push into your back ribs a little bit as you go a tiny bit side to side here. Almost as if you want to fill out, even out this rounded shape. Yeah? Good. After you're done that, come back and find your back body breath. You roll your wrist a little bit and we'll put them together into what I call the spinal jump rope, where the whole spine actually makes the movement like this. So if you imagine this is your spine, yeah, it makes a movement like this, only slow. So come back into table. Find your belly muscles here, engage your core. Inhale, exhale, do a lateral, then a flexion, then a lateral on the other side. And come back for inhale in table. Then go in the other direction. Barrel rolling. Think of the spine, recreating that movement of the jump rope. Yeah? Go both directions to stimulate your right side of the brain, left side of the brain equal way. Because we tend to run certain patterns in our body. So we want to practice a variety of patterns of movements and challenge ourselves every time with a different pattern, different direction. Yeah? After you've done enough to each side, come back for another rest in child's pose, back body breathing there. Wrist rolls. So these movements really help to expand that back body breath and make it feel even better. And now we maybe are ready to come onto the belly and get to the business of really balancing out and undoing some of the effects of hunched forward sitting, right, with a back bend. So this is going to be our next thing, where we lie on the abdomen and propping ourselves up on the elbows. So here already we have a stretch happening in the hip flexor. We're asking our chest to lift, our back muscles to contract, right? Let's take a moment here, do some easy shoulder shrugs, looking over each shoulder, settle into this shape. And then again, we're going to do a little dynamic movement to wake up those muscles. We're going to have our hands out wide and on the fingertips so that we don't use our arms to push up. We really want to use our back muscles to lift the chest. Looking down, engage your core, and inhale, come up, small to mid-range, and exhale, release all the way down, cheek to side. Inhale, come up, making sure we're looking down so the neck is level with the rest of the spine. And exhale, cheek other side. And like this, invite your body into a back bend, but don't force or push. Make sure you're not cranking for leverage with your arms. Inhale to come up, using that back body breath to create some space and expansion in the lower back ribs. And you can rest anytime. It'd be nice to do this maybe a couple of more times before moving on. When you're ready to rest, fold the hands under your face, bend the knees, and do some easy windshield wipers. So that was kind of low back, upper back, but we also have some muscles that are locked along, which is our glutes and hamstrings. And often that puts our pelvis into a misalignment, just gets things stuck. So we'll just do some easy leg lifts from the hip up. You can inhale to extend the leg or exhale to extend the leg. Try both ways and see what half of the breath feels most helpful for you. Yeah. Using our core for support, our back body breath for expansion in the low back. A few leg lifts here to stimulate some more action into our back muscles. This time including the glutes and the hamstrings. And you can rest your head on your hands or keep the head up so your upper back muscles are still engaged. Yeah. Good. A little rest, windshield wiping. And after we rest, we will do for the whole back body at once. Nice, big full body movement to get those muscles working well. So let's reach forward with both arms on the inhale. And on the exhale, as we lift the chest, we can spread the legs apart, lifting them, and slide the elbows in towards the sides of the waist. Inhale into full body stretch, forward. Exhale, lift up like you're skydiving here. Legs up, arms up, all the back muscles on. Yeah. I call this swan dive, skydive movement. And again, this is one of those dark leafy greens, nutritionally dense movements where you're engaging so many things at once in a way that really balances out a lot of the things that we need to. With all the sitting that we do. So think of this as your anti-slouch, anti-sitting vitamins. And again, rest anytime. I'm going to give you a chance to do maybe a couple more if you want. And if you have some energy left, your last skydiver shape, hold it for a breath or two to really load up those muscles with some effort before you let go. Yeah, and when you're ready, press up and back. And let's do child to table to compensate. So I mentioned some things need to have a little bit of a balancing act even within our yoga practice. So from child's pose, inhale table, exhale child, and this will balance out all that work for the back we just did and help the back settle down. Yeah? I'll rest in child's pose, back body breaths. And then you can come and sit with your legs out in front of you for a nice forward fold to finish up and stretch those back muscles. So if you sit with your legs out in front of you and flex your feet and bend in your knees a lot, you should be able to easily reach over the tops of the feet and grab a good hold over the feet, yeah? And then you can use the feet as leverage, pushing into your hands to pull your arms forward to stretch those back muscles. Yeah, make sure your knees are bent so your belly is on top and there's nice tight contact between ribs and thighs. That will protect your low back. We don't want this. We want the spine to be supported onto the legs and evenly rounded, very gentle pull forward. Yeah? Good. And then from here, you can again roll down onto your back for a minute of contemplation, breathing, and just establishing a mindful presence after the practice. Go back and revisit the various areas that you visited before. As we were in constructive rest pose in the beginning, and we were investigating how we feel, where we feel, what's going on. Take a moment to check in with that again. Long exhale, deep inhale, hands maybe on the ribs. And checking in. And some of you maybe feel so good and fired up. You may wish to follow up with a little bit more of yoga on your own, or a little bit of breathing exercises, pranayama or meditation, or just relax a little bit more and get back to your busy day. If you have a busy day planned ahead. And this little recipe that we worked on today actually is my own personal favorite recipe that I cook up for myself every day at a minimum. So this would be my little favorite minimum dish that I must have. Usually, by the time I get to this point, I am excited and fired up about my yoga practice, and I want to do a little bit more. Yeah? Let me know in the comments how you like this. If I come back next time, we'll do a yoga snack standing, for example. There's sometimes you have 15 minutes to half an hour at an airport or at the beach while your kids are playing, or at an office where there is no room to lie down, right, and do something like this. So there's ways we can sneak in yoga snacks into a variety of situations and scenarios in our daily life. And this is, I feel like, really nicely empowering thing to know, to have in your toolbox to reach for when you're feeling stressed and or short for time, but you still want to get some nice movement, nutrition into your body. And I thank you for joining me. Deep namaste. I'm gonna turn off now. Have a great day, everybody.